Hey, my YouTube friends and family, how's everyone doing? Hope all is well. This is Blitz week. This is, for some people, doomsday. So, little update on me. I got my truck into Southern California. I had a handful of failures. Air conditioning quit blowing cold. I had a short circuit light, which is like a lightning bolt on the dash. Turns out I have a bad sensor on my airbags. That's no big deal. It's like a $120 sensor. I did have a pretty bad tear. A seam was actually ripped on my air charge cooler. The local Mac dealership wanted $1,790 for it. The dealership in El Paso, Texas, where I tend to buy a little bit more, offered me a better price at $1,200. But there's a local shop here. They're actually an international company. They fabricate this type of stuff on the other side of the border. So it's a Mexican-made air charge cooler, which, whether we like it or not, most of our stuff is made in Mexico anyways. Anytime you go to Napa and buy yourself a rebuilt starter, alternator, AC pump, anything like that, it's coming from Juarez. That's just the reality. If you ever go to El Paso and look for a Napa store, you won't find any but one, and it's basically a big distribution hub where they bring parts from Mexico, from one of the maquiladoras, excuse me, I almost sounded Caucasian there. No offense to my Caucasian friends. Anyway, so there's a place here, if you guys are ever needing a radiator, there's a place here called Rayadores Frontera, and my air charge cooler, which Mac in Southern California wants $1,700 for, it's $720 here. And so my daughter's pickup truck is out this way. I drove it out when I picked up my truck, so I needed to grab it, and I needed a couple other parts. Plus, I have an opportunity. ConocoPhillips called me up last week. Earlier this week, my apologies. I'm confused on my days. I'm thinking it's the weekend. Anyway, ConocoPhillips called me up looking for some trucks. They want like 10 of them, and I'm going to go entertain it. ConocoPhillips pays a really good rate, and if I can negotiate that, I'm going to put some oil field trucks back to work. So I'm in El Paso today picking up some parts. Brought my nephew with me. He's gonna drive the wife's SUV back home. I'll grab the daughter's pickup truck. I got another truck here in the shop that I'm trying to get ready for a new hire. And so I'm in a hotel room in El Paso right now. Anyways, I know I got a few more cities you guys have been asking for. We got in here pretty late last night, and I just kind of racked out. Just woke up a couple minutes ago, about to jump in the shower and try and get my nephew turned around and heading back home. But because it is Blitz week, I kind of wanted to show you guys just a random cross section of the load board. Right now we have this set to, from anywhere to anywhere. I removed the blocks because it doesn't let some of the filters work well, and then as a minimum payout, I set it at $500. In my opinion, getting $20 a mile to go 4 miles isn't, it's not a great deal. And so it's just something I did as a cross section, and this will kind of give you guys an idea. And for those of you that aren't in the trucking business now, there's a thing called the commercial, I might get it backwards, Commercial Safety Vehicle Alliance. It might be Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance. Anyways, it's a combination of those 4 words. These guys, it's like an organization. Many states and departments participate in it. They kind of set the standard, even though we all think that FMCSA are the regulations that are enforced. This is true, but the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance sets a standard on how the inspections go down, how frequently a vehicle gets stopped, that kind of thing. And when you see a commercial truck going down the highway and you look at its windshield, you'll see a sticker on there. Typically it's a rectangular looking sticker, possibly with the corners cut off. And so there's typically a number in the middle of it that indicates what year it is. The color of the sticker indicates what quarter the inspection was done, and then the corners being cut off indicates which month in the quarter it was. And so at a glance from inside the scale house, a potential inspector that's going to pull you in can look at your windshield. He sees which sticker you has. If you were inspected within the last 30 days, they're not supposed to inspect you again. They pick someone else. And you're supposed to be inspected every 90 days according to their program. But of course, when budgets are tight or whatever, they don't inspect that often. Anyway, so this is the week that they do what they call a Blitz. They do it every year. They announce it. It's all over the news. In the trucking industry, we all know it's coming. And so what ends up happening is they target this week. Anyone that's on the road will tell you, they got portable scales set up. There's 3 or 4 officers at any given, existing scale house, and they inspect a lot of trucks. So some of your over-the-road truckers or even short-haul truckers that run a little bit on the sketchy side, they park their trucks this week. They just say, this is the week I'm going to take a vacation. And what it does is it creates an artificial shortage of trucks. So on the regular load boards, your DAT, your truck stop, Uber, Convoy, you'll see rates go up because a lot of people park themselves. And I was curious to see if Amazon did the same. It does look like there's some better paying loads out there. I know we've, since last week, started getting loads paid a little better. My loads going home were pretty good. Anyway, so a quick run down the load board. Again, I know it's not what you guys were asking for, but just to give you an idea of what supply and demand does. So here's a load. It's a round trip, 40 miles. In Illinois, they're paying $21 a mile, so it's $880. According to them, it takes a day and 3 hours. Why, I don't know. Here's another one, 46 miles, and it's going to pay $538. There's 49 miles, it's going to pay $500. There's 89 miles, going to pay $752. 103 miles, $612. 95 miles, $500. 194 on the miles, going to pay just under $1,000. There's 148 miles for $756. There's 140 miles for $702. There's 287 miles for $1,300. There's 390 miles for $1,800. That's a nice deal right there. There is 146 miles for $676. There's 146 miles for $676. There is 926 miles for $4,200. Hard to pass on that, even though it's going to Oregon. Anyway, there's 155 miles for $715. There is 1,000 miles for $4,600 going out to Colorado. Colorado's usually tough to get out of, but you know, at that rate going in, might be worth it to take something cheap coming out. There is 146 miles for $672. There's 166 for $755. There's 423 miles for $1,900. 193 miles for $862. There's 575 miles for $1,200. 154 miles for $679. There's 944 miles for $4,300. There's 1,000 miles for $4,400. 1,000 miles for $4,300. So you guys see the difference here? It's a supply and demand thing. When people don't take these loads at $1.50 a mile like they normally do, this is what happens to them. These rates become much, much better. So these are, for the most part, semi-truckloads. And it is what happens when people decide to park. You know, you always hear the joke, oh, we should go on strike. You don't really need to go on strike. Just decide you're only going to work every other day. If everybody did it, the rates would change. Anyway, let me do a filter just for box trucks, because I didn't see any there. It's very difficult for a box truck to pay over $500. And so let me remove that. And I'm still getting used to this new format, so bear with me a minute. Oh, what happened? All right, and so this is based on price per distance. Let's switch that to the nearest start date, because that should be when they're most desperate. It should be anyways. So there's 27 miles at $11.79 a mile. There's 819 miles for $1.45. There's 203 miles for $287. There's 151 miles for $276. Doesn't seem like there's that big a difference. In fact, I don't really see anything that's over $3 a mile. So I'm going to say the box truck guys kept running, and there isn't the same kind of shortage. And that could be because most of your box truck guys are new to the business, and they may not be listening to, for example, they may not be subscribed to some of the industry magazines like Freight Waves and stuff like that. And so they may not even know that it's happening. They may not know that, well, there's a $3 a mile, there's a $4 a mile. Yeah, so here we have 79 miles for $369. According to them, it'll take you 6 hours to do it. $462 a mile. There's 85 miles for $432 a mile. There's 143 miles for $320 a mile. There's 155 miles for $290 a mile. There's 188 miles for $355. These aren't spectacular loads, but you know, compared to some of the under $3 a mile loads, these are a little bit better. There's 206 miles for $252. There's 94 miles for $410. 92 miles for $4. 51 miles for $568. Pennsylvania, in the Pennsylvania area. I drive through there when we're hauling loads, but I'm not going to say I'm familiar with, you know, the delivery city. I can't tell you if that's a good place to get back from or not. So there you have 236 miles at $211 a mile, pays $500. 189 miles for $241 per mile. Anyway, you guys get the idea. I just wanted to kind of throw that together real quick and send it out. Market fluctuations do tend to make the rates fluctuate. I know in the big truck world, there's a lot of trucks parked right now. A buddy of mine that's running under someone else's authority out of the Dallas area said that he got inspected yesterday coming out of Memphis, got his sticker, and made his drop. And this morning they're blowing up his phone because they need him to go back out again. And he's like, man, my 10-hour break isn't even up and they want me to go out already. And I'm like, yeah. I said, they're probably short drivers. And that's exactly what they told him, that they miraculously have a lot of broken trucks this week. People like me know exactly why that is. Anyways, guys, I gotta jump in the shower, get some breakfast, and get some things moving today. But hope everyone has a good day. And I don't know how much insight this really offers for you guys, but it does create a fluctuation. Things like Blitz week, holidays, stuff like that creates a short-term shortage in trucks. And especially if you're new to the business, and you're a workaholic, that's when you can really make that cherry on top or icing on the cake, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching.